look at the studio. The first question I'm going to answer is how I get these overhead shots in my videos. And let me show you what I'm looking at right now. This is a beam across the ceiling that is just applied pressure into the wall, so I don't have to actually build it in or anything. I've got two of these, thought I'd use two, the second one isn't being used at all. But what I've got dangling from it is a camera and a microphone. So these things don't have to be on the floor, they don't have to get in the shot of my other angle when I'm filming YouTube tutorials. Let me show you that a little bit closer. But before I do anything else too much, what I need you to promise me is that you won't judge the state of my cable management. I refuse to show you anything else unless you promise that you won't judge the mess in this room. Any professional musicians, videographers, people who deal with a lot of cables, this is just the way I do it. Maybe this is a nice little insight into my brain. So, let's have a look. This is a Sony ZV-1 camera. I recommend it for lots of things. It's great for travel. It's really easy to use. It's got a lens built in, but it's very good quality, 4K, all that kind of stuff. David Kuckerman recommended this to me. It's stuck on this pole with like a C-clamp and some kind of contraption thingy that Peter Levertov taught me how to do. I've had a lot of amazing friends and guides help me create this studio. And then I also have on this beam here a microphone, which is an Audio Technica AT2020. It's very old. It was the first microphone I ever had, and I still use it because it's great. It was really cheap as well. And then all these cables, HDMI cables, blah blah blah, XLR cables, are running over this pole behind this big wall hanging here into this. The camera is running into this, which is a A10 Mini Pro, which is like a switcher, so I can look at my angles like this, as much as I want to. And so this is my second angle. It's another Sony camera, but this time it's basically the same camera again, but with replaceable lenses. And I've got a nice Sigma 16mm lens on that. And this is what it looks like when I'm filming, so I can see myself, see what I'm doing. Sometimes I have a script up on here, sometimes I have an edit that I'm working on here. Yeah, lots of things. So that's that. So the microphone is one of 4. I also have this one here, and this one here. And what I like to do, these are Octava, not quite sure exactly how to pronounce that, Octava MK something or other condenser microphones. And then I also have a bass mic that I use I only usually ever use it if I'm using particularly deep handpans, that I just kind of lives under the desk a little bit, then I can pull it out at any time. So all of these are always plugged in to this, which is a Scarlett 8x8, I think, yeah, interface. This is my water bottle. Focusrite Scarlett 8x8, and I have them plugged in all the time. I've got 3 of them on right now recording the audio. Hello. And that means that basically whenever inspiration strikes, I can just turn it on at the wall, turn this on, press go, and I'm recording. And so, yeah, I really like that for when I'm sat in my chair improvising, playing around, and then something just kind of pops out. I'm like, oh, I want to capture that. Then I can just capture it, just like that. And that's been a really nice flow for me so far. So yeah, that's how I record everything. I've got a couple of lights, as you can see. This is a project that has just begun and may or may not be finished. This is Scooby. Scooby looks after my hard drives when I'm traveling. This is my friend's brain. These are over 10-year-old monitors that I've been telling myself I'm going to replace for a couple of years, and I still haven't. They were also very cheap. They're fine. They're not amazing, but they're fine. And then, so under the desk it's quite embarrassing. It's a lot of mess. This is some art supplies, important documents, bits and bobs. I've got lots of different like throws and things that I can put down on the floor for different vibes whenever I'm recording. Rosie comes here to film as well sometimes, so she'll put a different sheet down. I also have in the corner here, standing up here inside this tube, is a white carpet, a reflective white, it's a wedding runner thing. That's what I used when I filmed for Handpan Dojo and when I filmed Rosie's course for Handpan Dojo as well. That's how you get the infinite white background, is by filming on a white carpet. Sometimes I take this throw down. I've got like a tube running, I sewed a tube in the top of this that's got an elastic runner in it, and then it's just kind of dangling on these two little nails on each side. So I can just take it down really easily whenever I want, and then I've got a white wall to work with. And also sometimes the patterns and the colours just feel a little bit imposing and I just want to get rid of it. So that goes up and down quite often. You might notice in a lot of my videos. Sometimes it's a white wall, sometimes it's a mandala. Depends on my mood and what other projects I've been working on. So let's have a look then, I suppose, at the Handpan wall. So I've got a RAV over here, sitting in the corner over here. Maybe we can widen this a bit, yeah. A RAV sitting over in the corner, and a little keyboard that I use sometimes when I'm teaching, some acoustic, like fabric-y, wall-hangy thingy. Behind here is actually a door to my neighbour's office, and the door has a window in it. So I put that up just for a little bit of privacy for us both. Yeah, all my handpan cases and stuff under the desk, a little yoga mat for when I need to stretch, and da-da-da-da, the handpan wall. So this isn't all of them, I'm missing my desert rose at the minute. Let's bring this microphone over here so that you can hear me. So we've got my guitar, first of all. It's a crafter. It was gifted to me by my dad when I was a teenager, and I play it often, but I don't perform with it anymore. And then handpan-wise, there's one handpan that's not here. That's a desert rose. That's at home. This is not my home. This is just my studio space. Here we have from Meridian Handpans a F-low Pygmy 13, I think, 14, can't remember, with a lovely kind of dragon skin type finish. I've got a hang under here. This one belongs to Daniel Waples. It's not mine. He's asked me to look after it for a while. It's an Akebono, G Akebono. Here we have a Haigpan. Haig is a new maker based in and around Los Angeles, I think. It's an F-sharp low Pygmy. Here we have an Elaia Handpan. It's a C-sharp Pygmy. I've got so many Pygmies at the minute. I went from having no Pygmies at all to suddenly having a million of them. This, I think, these two look the same, so it's hard to tell. I think is my E Sabye from Meridian Handpans, and this is the D kurd. This is a B Ruz from RAV Vast. Link in the description if you want 5% off any RAV Vast purchase. And I also have an F Astronaut from them as well. It's just on a shelf that I borrowed from Duncan from Meridian Handpans. He was going to get rid of it. You can see that it's a little bit precarious. He's put some thingy-majiggies in there to stop it from falling down. So that was a lovely gift from Duncan. And then I have a little whiteboard on the wall for when I'm planning stuff. That's just my bag that I brought in today. What else? I use these, at the moment, for mixing and everything, I'm using these Bose Bluetooth noise cancelling headphones that also plug in, just because they're really nice and they feel really good. But I think that about covers it. My carpet below me is slightly skew width because I like to film kind of on an angle into the corner of the room. So to get the overhead straight, kind of my whole room is set up slightly wonky. Sometimes I have a black carpet down as well. If you watched any of the Handpanuary videos, you'll know that there is a black, kind of infinite black underneath the handpan. That's what I'm using there. I think that pretty much covers it. There's loads of bits of rubbish in here that I'm not particularly proud of. Yeah, and loads of little bits and bobs of instruments and stuff that I only use every now and then. The TV that I'm using, or the monitor for what I'm filming, is a It's a really old flat screen TV that my grandma gave me years ago. That is not very good. No, not true colours. Like, it's literally just so I can see what's going on. But it does the job just fine. And I also use it, I plug it into the computer as well when I'm teaching, so that what I'm looking at is just below the camera, so that the student looks like I'm actually looking at them. But then I've got a real monitor for when I'm editing, and I'm using a Mac Studio to edit on. Yeah, I think that probably just about covers it. So there you go, that was a very manic studio tour. I don't know where that energy came from. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, also I've got a couple of different lenses. I also sometimes just record with this when I want to keep things simple. This is a Zoom H4n Pro, but you can use a H2n. These are like 10, 15 years old, but they're solid. They're like the best piece of kit I've ever owned. If I ever record outside of the studio, it's this. I use this a lot. And my phone now. I used to take the Sony ZV-1 out on the road with me, but now I pretty much just use my phone. I've got a Google Pixel 8 that I bought specifically to be able to use for filming handpan videos. Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. But you know, you don't need all of these things. When I first started filming tutorials, I think I was using something like this, just a cheaper version, and kind of putting it around something on a shelf above me, so that it wasn't in the shot, and filming against a wall. And I actually was using the boom above me here that's holding the microphone. I was wrapping it around the boom so I could get it a bit further away from the wall. It's a little bit dodgy, a little bit precarious. Or if you're sitting low enough, if you're sitting on the ground, you can use a tripod and do a similar thing to get that above angle. But yeah, these poles are really good. Pixar Pro, I think, is the name of the website that I got them from. They're Manfrotto something or other studio beams. Very overpriced. You could probably make something for yourself if you're handy for a much cheaper price. But yeah, it's not impossible to get overhead shots. It's really not impossible. You just have to be a little bit kind of savvy and engineer something. But yeah, I when I first started filming tutorials consistently, I was at my mum and dad's place at the time. My dad helped me put up a shelf. I then put the boom that I already had, that was like a desk mount for a microphone. You put that on that shelf so it came out a little bit, and then I put one of these on that, and then I put my camera onto it. So it was a little bit dodgy, but it worked. And it was a pain to set up every time. Now I'm really lucky that I can just have this permanent setup, and yeah, it feels amazing to have this space that is my own. But it is possible in any setting. So there you have it. Alright, any questions? I'll make another video, I suppose. But people ask me a lot how to get those overheads, so I thought I would just quickly show you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm going to go film some actual tutorials now, and yeah, see you very soon.